Yo guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Welcome back to My Team Career Mode on F1 2021. And in today's video is the Spanish Grand Prix, but first of all, we have to do a personnel department thing. So we're going to get on with that, but I just don't know if we're going to do that first because I haven't got that far in, and I just have to do it like this. Nice. Yes, we are going to get into it, so let's read it. So it says, as a team owner, you will be occasionally approached by a department to tackle a department event. These events can be triggered at any point while advancing time in your HQ. Department events ask you to make difficult decisions and cover a range of topics such as marketing, drivers, media development, facilities, sponsors, and more. How you choose to respond to these events has a direct effect on everything from your team acclaim to your driver's stats, and may even be the subject of discussion in interviews, so it's essential to take your time when selecting an option. Geez, that took me to read that small, so here we go then.
The personnel department has asked us to deal with this. We have a couple of options here. Take your time. What you decide to do will have consequences.
So, Joe has been really hitting their stride in the simulator recently. While they're in the zone, where should we get them to focus their development? Yes, that is quite small on my screen. It won't be for you, but it's because I'm editing it. And so we got a choice of pace or awareness, and they both do +7 to it. And now I was thinking this, but we are actually going to pick the pace stat, I think. I don't know. Again, I spent a long time thinking about this, but we're going to select pace.
I know these kind of decisions can be challenging, but I think you made the right call.
So now we've done that personal department event, we're now going to skip time. No, we're not going to do activities, and we're going to pick every single one apart from the out department focus, but I will add that after the season break, because this would have been, because there's so long between Bahrain and Spain, is because there would have been Imola and Portimao, which aren't in the game at the moment, but they will be added in, I think, like September, October, November time. So I think September will be Portimao, October will be Imola, and November will be Saudi Arabia. As now we're going to go into the R&D, and that development failed, but we're going to repurchase that one, so you have a 0% chance of failure. It's going to come in 8 days, 9 days even. And then we're going to look at the rear wing main flap, but we can't do that because the department capacity is reached. And now we're going to purchase a chassis upgrade for the energy store cells positioning. That should help us with weight reduction and redistribution, whatever it is. And I'm going to purchase the ignition system for more engine power. And we're not going to purchase anything on durability yet. I did look at them, and it was like 41% chance failure, 42% there. And now we're going to go and look at the standings. As yeah, if you missed the last episode at Bahrain, where Lewis Hamilton actually won, as you can see there, and his teammate Valtteri Bottas DNF'd. So if you want to go look at that one, and also we crashed, so if you want to go look at that one, then click the link in the top right hand corner of your screen and go watch that before you see this one. And now we're going to advance the time, so we're going to get the simulator training done, and all the activities that we planned, and including the front wing main flap, that's going to come in as well. And before we get to the season break, and here we are then.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
Right, so now as we're on the day of the season break, we're just going to check stuff, and now we're going to look at the R&D screen And I was looking again to see if we could purchase a durability upgrade, and I'm deciding, should I not? And we actually do, I think. I'm just flicking through all of them now, and yes, we are. We're going to purchase MG UK, and now we're going to head into this chassis, and we're actually going to go purchase that central under tray, as there is a front wing main flap, and now we're going to try purchase that again, but now we have insufficient funds. And now we're going to move into the facilities, where we're now going to purchase our first facility upgrade of the series, and it's going to be in the durability department as fabrication. We're going to spend $1.6 million there. And now we're going to move into the season break as we get through that quickly, and our chassis thing fails. So now we're going to go through that. We're going to purchase, we can't purchase that because we don't have enough funds. So now we are going to be advancing time again until the 26th.
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week,
R&D screen,
so the entire development package for this weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
I'm just speaking of this guy. I'm sorry. We're going to repurchase the energy store thing for the chassis. And we got our durability upgrade.
Hey boss,
and
I think we could better manage our time by organising some team activities.
yeah,
Head to the activities screen to see what we have available.
so there we go, we're just going to add in that activity. And the ignition system decided to fail as well now, so don't have to repurchase that. So now we're going to advance time again to the 3rd. And then I realise that
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
that we can't actually purchase it, so yeah, we're not going to advance time. And now we get another personal department event.
The personnel department needs some assistance to reach a
An
resolution
OS
here.
update has caused some I can't say this, but compatibility, there we go, issues with our simulation software. Our IT folks expect to have it fixed later today, but in the meantime, Joe won't be able to use the simulator. What do you think we should want them to be working on instead? And I pick decline.
Not an
I
easy
shall pick
decision,
James,
but you handled it well. Thanks.
which boosts the focus stat. But if I press decline, it would increase the awareness plus 7. So now we go to the race weekend of Spain. And now let's head into the laptop, and we've got a weekend preview. And the development updates, all of them fail. Some upgrades have come through and they're ready. Weather forecast is going to be dry and clear. And now we move on to the R&D in progress, which you see there, which there's one of them apart failed and the other 2 are in development. And now the progress history, and a lot of teams have made gains, and so have we. We're moving to practice now, and the car felt actually quite good, as you'll see in the setup that I have in qualifying. But we did good there, and so we scored 700 R&D points, which brings the total up to about 1,100 R&D points. So now we get some development boosts now, so that's going to knock some costs off. And ignore the white thing in the middle. That's a glitch on the Xbox version, which I'm seeing a lot of recently. But it is a new game, so I'll give it to them. But if I start this game like later on in the game cycle, then I would be complaining. But we move on to the acclaim now, and we do gain a bit of acclaim. And I'd say probably by the end of Monaco, maybe, we might be able to be pitching another upgrade, but let's head into qualifying. And so here is my setup. Here we are for qualifying them. We're in 6-8 wings, and you can see the rest for yourself. And I did get this on time trial, but now I'm going to move on to the first lap of qualifying, and I didn't actually get off to the best of starts. As you see here, we go through the tricky chicane, which you can never get the power on, and we spin. Luckily, nothing was damaged. We did do a little thing, and now we're going to move on to the second lap that I did in qualifying, and this actually was a pretty good banker, so I'm going to talk through it as we go through the lap. So going down into turn 1, you want to brake, so you want to get the full, like half the car on the track, half car over. We'll go down to 5th gear, brake at 75 meter forward, short shift up to 6th for turn 2, and then you can't take turn 3 flat in this game, but you have to do a little lift there, and then up to 7th, up to 8th, and like brake as the bridge, as you go under the bridge down to 5th gear, short shift up to 6th is what I did, and then 3rd gear you want to, for the next corner, short up to 4th, take as much curve as you can, and I'm moving into the tricky left-right chicane bit, which will get a little bit of thing there, and we go down into the fast right-hander turn 9, uphill, which you can't really take flats, but it's fine. We're going to break out 100 meter bod there for the hairpin. I take the 3rd gear to get the traction, and then switch up to 4th and 5th, and then over and through the next one, you're going to do a 3rd gear for the second bit, short up to 4th, and ride over the curve a bit. And that last corner, you want to take 4th for a better drive, and 3rd through the first bit of the chicane, 4th through the second bit, and through the final corner. And what is it going to be? It's going to be a 1 minute 17.596 with Butcher's P21, 2/10 off George Russell. And now we're going to move into the final lap of Q1, and I'm going to let you watch this, and we'll see if we can get out of Q1. Of the final corner, and then to finish off that, we've improved by 2/10, we set 1 minute 17.3. But is it going to be enough to get out of Q1? As you can see on the wheel there, it says P20, which means that we haven't got out of Q1. Lewis Hamilton top session in Q1. Also, I apologise for the audio issues in qualifying, but they will be fixed. But they are fixed for the race. It was just the heat in the UK. It's been very warm, which has been playing up my internet and audio stuff. But Guan Yu Zhou out-qualifies us for the second race running in this series. He out-qualified us by 0.2 of a second. But now we're going to move into a quick interview.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it.
Are there any drivers that you've got a rivalry with at the moment?
Not really, but definitely not Valtteri Bottas. He's way too hard, so we're going to pick Antonio Giovinazzi.
You lost to your teammate today. Was it just not your day?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite hard to say, but they handled their chassis beautifully.
You won't be starting at the front of the pack. Are you worried?
It is a worry, but we have to make the best out of it anyway.
You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
I mean, the car didn't feel like it had enough downforce, so yeah, we're going to go with that one.
Appreciate your time.
So after qualifying then, Antonio Giovinazzi does out qualify us, so he gets a 1 point lead in the rivalry. The rivalry numbers are 2-1. And Acclaim, we move up. Well, we nearly move up to level 2. And we're quite close to level up to level 4. But now let's move into the Spanish Grand Prix.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, a track that will certainly force the drivers to push themselves. It consists of a very impressive main straight going into turn 1. It's a straight that also offers a DRS zone, so it's likely to be a hot spot for overtakes. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1, so how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Vettel, Stroll and Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon and Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi, and Guan Yu Zhou, and George Russell. Sainz, they've taken a grid penalty. Jackson, Mazepin, and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing, as we head to trackside for today's race.
So here we are then on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. We are starting P20 with a Ferrari starting alongside us because Carlos Sainz has picked up a penalty. Now let's look at the race strategy, and it's going to be a one-stop for medium to hard. And we're going to underfuel the car by about 0.1 of a lap, but I might underfuel it by a bit more for the next race, because the next race is, well, it's Monaco. But I don't know. I actually don't know, because the fuel bit is a bit confusing on this year's game for me, because we've got fuel efficiency upgrades. But yeah, we're going to do medium to hard strategy, so let's get into the Spanish Grand Prix then. Right then, so here we go then to 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go. And we're going to bog down a bit, and we're going to, oh no, we've bogged down. We're now down into last place. And now we've just, oh man. Now we're going to go down into turn 1, we're going to go right around the outside. And we've gone back into P20. As we're going side by side with Nikita Mazepin. As we go down now round into turn 3. It's not quite flat, and we're struggling for picking up a bit of understeer there. And now we're going to go down into turn 4. And we're going to send it down the inside. And we make contact with both the Williams. And I got over this thing over the radio. Jeff said, I have some damage on the chassis. As you can see that on the MFD, it's a different colour to what the floor is. And he said he's going to reduce in a bit of drag. And now we get a little bit loop. We have to fight the steering wheel a bit there as we go down into the uphill turn. I don't know what turn it is. We're going to look back now, and both the Williams are actually struggling. So we're going to send one down the inside of Nikita Mazepin. We nearly make contact with our teammate Guan Yu Zhou there. As now there are yellow flags there, and that is because I don't know who that is. I think it was Pierre Gasly maybe. He might have had a moment there. As now we go down into the chicane for the first time in this race, and Max Verstappen leads the way off the start, as we will get a replay of the race start soon. As now we move on to lap 2, we're going to deploy the ERS down the main straight to try and stay ahead of Nikita Mazepin as both the Williams pit. I was like, what? I actually didn't even notice that. I was too busy focusing. And so I go back down into turn 1, and it's now starting to be a chain form, and it looks like the front of it is led by Mick Schumacher there. As now we go down into turn 4, and we're not actually, like, this chassis damage is not really affecting us too badly. As now we go down into the chicane, and now let's have another look at the race restart. So we went to 5 red lights, and there was a Mercedes front row, but Max Verstappen starting P3 got a lightning start, as he's already moved up into P1 by the time we get down into turn 1. I think we can't see because we're focusing on me. Oh, there goes Hamilton and Verstappen are going side by side through turn 3, and Verstappen's actually got the move around the outside. That was a beautiful move on the replay cameras. And let me know down in the comments if you like me doing this type of style, where we do the onboard from me from lap 1, and then we look at the race restart at the race start as a replay. As now we go. I go back to looking at myself. As now we go down the back straight, and I'm looking at Pierre Gasly to see that mistake. He got on the curb and he's drifted around that corner beautifully, Tokyo drift. And then he gets back past Mick Schumacher going into the final chicane. As now we go back here, and now we move on to lap number 2 and the end of lap 1, and both the Williams drivers are pitting for new front wings because of the damage that they picked up from making contact with myself, I think it was. And then they come in the pits. That's a beautiful camera angle there of them changing the front wing. As now George Russell has to wait for a very long time because they have to change their wing, and then they're going to change George Russell's wing. They will do that. As now they move into the order. So it's Max Verstappen who leads the way after lap 58, followed by Lewis Hamilton, who lost pole position again. And then it's the second record of Sergio Perez in P3. And then it's the second Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. So the Mercedes not having the best of starts here. Followed by Ricciardo, Norris, Vettel, Leclerc, Tsunoda, and Stroll finishing off the top 10. And people just outside the top 10 we have Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, who had that mistake there on lap 1 that we saw. And then who were going to stay on the dog for a while because something happens to them. I was just wondering, was it this lap or was it the other lap? Or was it another lap? And it was another lap that I did. And after Big S, it is Mick Schumacher in the first test. It's Antonio Giovinazzi, and it's both Alfa Romeos, Carlos Sainz and Ferrari. Ferrari picks up a grid penalty, followed by Guanyu in the first one for the motorsport car, then myself, and then both the Williamses. And Nikita Mazepin in the middle there. Now we go back on board with ourselves on lap number 5, and we put yellow flags, and that is because Pierre Gasly is going to fall to the wayside here. And we're going to get a quick replay from that now. And as you can see, as he goes down the back straight, without the camera angle, his engine just pops. So he's got a mechanical failure there. I'm surprised we haven't had one yet, because mechanical failure it takes out the bollard in the process. And on lap 5 already, I thought this way, Pierre Gasly falls to the wayside. Picks himself up a DNF. As now on lap 5, this is the same lap that Pierre Gasly retired. I'm going to be put, yep, we've got the wobbly out there. Out of the first corner, and Nikita Mazepin is going to gain on us with DRS. And he's going to try and look for the overtake, but we don't just enough to stay ahead of him on the straight. But now we move on to onto lap number 7 now, and we're going to let Nikita Mazepin through as a tactic to try and make us catch up to Guan Yu Zhou, but it didn't really work. I think actually, yeah, it didn't actually really work, because now you see that we're 3/10 behind him, but he's gonna, I mean, he hasn't really pulled away. But we now move on to the end of lap 7, and we've got some people in the pit lane now, I think. Lap 7 is, yep, we got Lance Stroll in the pits. We also got a Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. But as you can see, Mazepin is 8/10 in front of us, and we're just hanging on to his DRS. But now we get quite close there to Charles Leclerc there as he exits the pits. And now Mazepin is about 8/10 still, 7/10 in front of us, but we don't really have the pace. So, and now Charles Leclerc is gonna try and look for a move, which he can't do, into turn 5. As now we go into turn 6 and 7. I've botched that up, haven't I? It's turn 5. Damn it. Well, going into turn 8 now. Fast turn 8, turn 9, and we get a bit loosey out there. Bit loosey goosey. And now that's going to invite. I thought it would have invited the car to have a run at us, but we deployed the DRS, and we had DRS on Nikita Mazepin in front, who is now about 9/10 ahead of us, which isn't that good. And now we get a bit too much on the curb there, as we are starting to struggle now with the dirty air. We're still going to get DRS, but he's now second in front of us now as Nikita Mazepin, as Carlos Sainz is in the pits. And now Charles Leclerc is going to go for the move. He's going to turn to the inside for turn 1, but we're going to brake late, and we're going to hold it round the outside. We'll have to go into 4th gear though to get the rotation. And Charles Leclerc is going to squeeze us out going into turn 3. We have to give up the position there. And now as we go down into turn 4, Lance Stroll is going to have a look there down the nose up the inside, but we're going to block him off there as we go around the outside, squeeze him out. But now we go down into turn 4, turn 5 even. I don't know if this counts as a corner, I can't remember, but I'm just going to say that's turn 6, so turn 7 and 8, and now we're going to turn into turn 9. We have to downshift into 6th gear and open up DRS, and now Lance Stroll is going to have a look at us. Down the inside he goes into turn 10, and he's going to squeeze us off the track. I tried to keep my foot in there, but he forced me to go off the track there. And now we are down into P18 with Carlos Sainz 11 seconds behind us. I think that was Lewis Hamilton in the fastest lap. We're now going to lap 13 now, and as now Carlos Sainz is 2/10 behind us, and Nikita Mazepin is now 9/10, but he is going to, I thought he was going to pull into pits though. He's not, because we're on mediums. So lap 13 now, Carlos Sainz is going to have a look at us as he goes. Is he going to have a look? No, he's not. We've actually managed to keep him at bay down the front straight. That's just how powerful our Mercedes engine is. But now as we go down and go around turn 3 and into turn 4, Carlos Sainz might have a look here. He's not ill. The proximity arrow did go red for a second there. He was going to have a look, but because we went deep, so we're now going to go down into turn 5, as now we're going to go later on into the lap and down on the main straight going into turn 10. He's going to do a similar move to what Lance Stroll did. He's going to go send it down the inside. He sent us wide a bit, but I managed to get into first gear to get extra rotation. Shout out to LMS. And now, lap 14, Nikita Mazepin is going to come into the pits. I decided to stay out one more lap because my tyres were alright. As now because we set a green and a red sector there, and we're only, I mean, we're 7 turns off our personal best, but as Raikkonen pits as well for hard tyres. But now we move on to the next lap, lap 15. I was going to pit this lap, but Guan Yu Zhou decided to pit first. Actually, no, I think lap 15 was my scheduled pit stop lap. So, yeah, now we have to wait another lap until lap 17, until this lap, lap 16, which we will get to at the end of the lap for our one and only pit stop of the race. And I'm going to stay on board for this whole in lap, and now you can just see how quick Carlos Sainz is on those fresh mediums. He's already 4.4 seconds ahead of us, and he overtook us on lap 13. No, it was lap 14, so that was only 2-3 laps ago. As now we go down into turn 6, I think. No, turn 7, turn 8, and then into turn 9. As you can see there, the front left is on 45% tyre wear. I can't see what the others are on because the power director thing is there, and neither can you. As we get, I'm losing a bit of traction there. I think the rears are on a higher percent. I think they want like 57, maybe 59. But now we're going to box this lap, and we have confirmed that. So now we're going to pit in this lap for our one and only pit stop of the race, as we get a little bit loose there coming into the pit lane. As now, let's see how good our second pit stop of the season is going to be. And if you remember from the first one, we had our front wing changed in Bahrain, so that was like a 7.8 pit stop. Let's see what this one is going to be. As we come into the box there, we're going to put on the hard compound tyres, and it's a 3-second stop. Bit of a slow stop there from the boys, but it's the start of the season, so we'll let them off. But if it happens again, then they're out. As we now get a yellow flag, and who's that going slow? It's the Haas of Nikita Mazepin, and his engine's gone now as well. What is going on? We're only 17 laps in, and both Mazepin and Gasly's engines are blown up. So that's a Honda engine and a Ferrari engine that are blown up, and it's only race 2. As now, there's going to be no safety car or anything for that. I don't think on the new F1 game they don't bring safety cars out for mechanical retirements. As now move on to lap 28, I see nothing happened. I see Kimi Raikkonen is going to pull into the pits here, and just to let you know, we are already a lap down. Yeah. And there is Kimi Raikkonen coming out of the pit lane there, and he's come out on fresh soft tyres. And now I thought that he was going to try to go for the fastest lap, so I am going to decide to respond on this lap. So we're going to select the soft compound tyres, and we're going to come in at the end of this lap to try and get a fastest lap. Or that's what I thought when I did this race. But then what you see at the end of the race is actually he came into the pits to change his front wing. And I don't know what he got the damage on. I don't have a replay of it, but I don't know what happened. And so yeah, I was like, oh. So yeah, when I'm going to come into the pits, I guess, for the second time in this race, I'm going to put on a fresh set of soft tyres. And I made a big mistake there coming in. Let's see what our third stop of the season and of the series is going to be. Is it going to be quicker than the 3-second pit stop our first pit stop that we had? Let's find out. We pull into the pit box again for the second time, and it's going to be a 2.1 second stop. That's more like it. Not a 3-second stop. And I also pit because I didn't want to get blue flagged, because they are part of the lead group. So that's why I pit, to get out of their way as well. And we've now got a Red Bull behind us, who is going to look to lap us. Actually, no, it's not. That's Nicholas Latifi. Oh well. As Valtteri Bottas sets the new fastest lap of a 1:16.8, I think that said. So we're setting a 1:20.6, which is on our old medium tyre. So that's 2 seconds slower than what Valtteri Bottas has just put in on probably mediums as well. As Hamilton sets at 1:16.895, I think that said. I couldn't quite see. No, it might have been a 16.85. It might be in a... Actually, yeah, 16.85. No, an 18.65. 6.85. I can't speak. So yeah, we now come on to the lap 30, and we've actually gained up to the lead group. That's just how quick we were on the soft compound tyres as we lose the back end there. And that has let Nicholas Latifi gain upon us. So we're going to have to deploy our ERS all the way down this main straight, and we're going to defend quite aggressively there. We're going to move across him, and we're going to go down into turn 1. We're going to take the normal racing line, and Latifi can't have a sniff up the outside or the inside there. Go into turn 1, and then we'll go down around turn 3, and I think we've done enough to stay ahead of Latifi. So that's a new fastest lap again of a 16.5, I think that said. But we're now 3/10 up on our personal best, which isn't that good. But we did have a big slide at the start of the lap, so that could have compromised some lap time. As now we go into the turn, I keep forgetting what turn this is, turn 7 and turn 8. Now going into the uphill turn 9, and we don't have DRS because we're not a second in front of the car ahead. And then we're going into turn 10, and we're green, but we're a second up. We're a second up on our personal best, but we're only green. We're not purple. So I was like, oh, we're never going to get fastest up at this rate. I'm not surprised if they've just done like a 16 somewhat or an 18 somewhat. Jeez. On medium tyres as well. Now we're going to come across the line to start our final lap of the race, because we are a lap down. We say an 18.4. So it must have been a 16 somewhat. So we're going to come on to this is our final lap now, because remember we are a lap down, and it looks like that we're going to stay on board for this final lap, and it's as Valtteri Bottas sets a new fast lap of 15.2. Jeez. He comes across the line to win the race, as Max Verstappen actually bottled it. So yeah, now we're gonna... I had a cheeky little flashback there. And now we come to the uphill turn 9 for the final time in this race. We get a perfect exit. We're gonna drain the rest of our ERS, but we're like 300ths down, going into the final sector, and we're gonna come through for P18, but we are a lap down. As you can see, they are the lead group as well. We caught back up to them just. But here is a spectacular finish to a Spanish Grand Prix. We dip our wheel in the gravel, and we're going to go backwards across the line. Well, and Latifi backs back into us, and there goes an Aston Martin, as Fernando Alonso at his home Grand Prix picks up the driver of the day.
A real team effort which has paid off in spades. A great victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Fernando Alonso, wherever he is, whatever team he's in, when is he not just brilliant? He'll give you a performance every time, just like he's done today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from the owner drivers team this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So there we are then. Valtteri Bottas picks up the win in the Spanish Grand Prix. He went from DNFing in Bahrain to winning the Spanish Grand Prix. So it's Valtteri Bottas and Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton who round up the podium, with Perez, Verstappen, who was leading the race on lap 3 in P5, followed by Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda, Ricardo Ocon and Vettel running out of top 10. And then just missing out on the points is his former teammate Charles Leclerc, Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi, Guan Yu Zhou, Kimi Raikkonen, myself, Latifi, Russell and Mazepin and Gasly retiring from the race. And I move on to the constructors' standings for the first time, and we are still last. But now we moved into the constructors and we moved up to 8th, and now here we are then, we're in the race director. So I scroll down, first had to get the front wing changed, and we scroll down to the bottom, and yeah, Kimi Raikkonen decided to pit for front wings, then I decided to pit for softs, and it didn't work. But we wouldn't have changed our position anyway from P18. But now let's move into a quick interview.
Today, let's have your take.
Your teammate beat you today. Was it a setup issue or something else?
Yeah, I guess Guan Yu drove much harder than me today, so in the car, so...
Not a great day for your teammate today. What do you think wrong?
I mean, they did. I'm not sure. I just hope this doesn't demotivate the team too much.
Appreciate your time.
So now moving to the rivalry, but I don't have a claim on money because I can't find the recording, but we can move straight into the HQ now, I guess. So here they're going back on the HQ, and we are now level 4 on the acclaim, if you can see the top right there. We have 1.46 million to spend. We're going to do some activities. I decided to do the autofill the activity just for some fun, but I read the messages, and it was just performance comparison. So yeah, and then I decided to just bin that idea. I don't know how, because I didn't know how it works. So yeah, so we're just going to put our own in. So we're going to do that right now. So we've got a press interview on the 18th before the Monaco Grand Prix. So we're going to put we're going to start off with Vertical PR filming and supply HQ talk, so I'll get us some extra team acclaim. And I said to do funded team event because I'll get some extra resource points and department morale. Now go to R&D, and maybe not. We're going to do progress history, just see where we are, and I'm going to now leave everything until the next episode. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and press the notification bell down below. And I have some highlights for us to do the outro. So yeah, if you have enjoyed, make sure you get subscribed. Also comment down below if you want maybe for me to do something a little bit different on the F1 game. So if you get subscribed, turn notifications on, and we will be back next weekend for the Monaco Grand Prix, and you don't want to miss it. So subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. But that's been me, 0141, over and out. Goodbye. Also subscribe for more crazy finish line finishes.